Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the lousiest, the drowsiest, the crummiest, and the slummiest, the weakest, meekest podcast on planet Earth. If you're ready for the worst of the takes and a stomach that aches, allow me to introduce the Worst Baseball Podcast.
Stepping up to the plate is the Worst Baseball Show. Noah, how's it going? We're back.
It's going good. I'm excited. It's a great time of the year.
It is a great time of the year.
Great time of the year. I'm excited. I think the playoffs are going to be great. And we're in the home stretch.
We sure are in the home stretch. I'm very excited. I feel like it's peak excitement season coming up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we got some tight playoff races. We've got...
Start of the fall.
Yeah, it's start of the fall. I mean, it's still hot as balls in here today.
Yeah.
No AC either, so...
Once it hits October, though.
Yeah. What can you do? It's exciting. It's a great time to be a baseball fan. Unless, of course, you're one of the teams that has already been statistically eliminated from the playoffs.
Which is most of them.
Which is a good amount of
great
them.
time unless you're most of the fans of most of the teams.
Exactly. And take no indication from my hat. It is just a hat. So
it's a fashion statement.
It's a fashion statement. People everywhere wear Yankees hats.
Yeah. Doesn't mean a thing.
Doesn't mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for me.
Yeah, because you're not a Yankees fan.
Right.
But, I mean, I think we're setting up for an epic postseason, honestly. I mean, just the teams in the mix. We might have playoff games at Citi Field. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The Padres are looking good. The Diamondbacks are looking good. We have Ohtani's going to play postseason baseball for the first time. The Yankees are back in the playoffs. The Astros are always there. And you have some young, exciting teams that people aren't expecting much out of, even though they've had great seasons, like maybe the Guardians, maybe the Royals. So it's going to be really fun. I'm looking forward to it. But I also don't want the regular season to end. It's been so fun.
It has been fun. And I don't know, it just feels like it's gone by quickly this year. I feel like the second half was like that.
Yeah, I feel like it was just the All-Star break.
I know, I really do.
2 weeks ago.
Just yesterday we were watching Ingrid Andress drunkenly caterwaul the national anthem.
And Jarren Duran was winning the All-Star Game MVP.
Right.
And he had no idea what was about to happen on a live mic in about a month.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder how she's doing. Ingrid, yeah.
I check her Instagram periodically just for fun. I don't think she's posted anything.
I was going to say, I feel like there are like no social media in rehab would be like a pretty basic tenet of rehab.
Do you think she actually went to rehab?
I don't think she's lying. I think she actually went to rehab. I don't want to speculate that she didn't.
Yeah, we're not a speculation. We're not an Alcoholics Anonymous show. We're a baseball show.
Yeah, we speculate about baseball, not about baseball.
Narcotics. Yeah, exactly. We leave the narcotics to you. That's your thing.
All right. Okay.
Okay. So speaking of speculation, today we have a very, very special segment.
Mm-hmm.
We gained access to
the script,
but via a potion of some sort that came into our hands. It fell into our laps.
I don't know if you should be talking about this on stream, you know.
I don't need to give away any details, but a mysterious box showed up at my doorstep about a week ago.
No return address.
No return address. It didn't even have my name on it, but I opened the box and this was inside.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of solution left in here, so we really do have to use it sparingly, but I wanted to share it with you guys. Ignore the fact that it says Everspring antibacterial disinfecting cleaner, citrus and basil, cuts grease and grime on it.
That's to throw you off.
That's just to throw me off. I used it once to actually clean my countertop, and what happened is I got these flashes in front of my eyes of the future, of the script for the 2024 playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So basically how it works is we spray this in the air, right? We inhale its toxic fumes, and then it tells us something that a future headline for after or during the 2024 Major League Baseball playoffs. So we each have 3 that we've prepared via the Magical Mystery Mist. So we're going to spray it in the air and share those predictions with you and give our reasoning for those. But first, as always, we have a game. I prepared a game for you. Are you familiar with the concept of a Punnett Square?
I know the name. Let me look one up really quick. Can you explain it?
A Punnett Square, it's like with the alleles and the heterozygous and the homozygous.
Yes, dominant,
recessive traits. I essentially created a baseball Punnett Square.
Okay. Oh, I like this.
The only similarity it has to a Punnett Square is that it's got 4 columns, and you have to figure out something that goes in each of the 4 columns. So it's a square. It's a square, yes.
Why
with 4 sections, just because it's shaped like a Punnett Square.
Okay.
It's a square with 4 sections, And in each section, you know what? Let me write this out on a whiteboard. Give me a second. This will help visualize it.
I haven't been quizzed in a while.
Yeah, it's really been some time, so we're going to see.
Just been Matthew failing quizzes recently.
Yeah, right. I got really close last time. I got really close.
That was a pretty easy prompt. Francisco Lindor? Come on.
Most people said they didn't think they could do it, so... Okay. So we've got our whiteboards now. I was completely prepared coming into this with the whole whiteboard thing. Okay. So, here's how it works. So we have our square.
It's
right?
a plus sign.
Well, there's going to be tops and bottoms. So, on the top we have top 10 Ks.
So this is like immaculate grid.
Yeah, essentially.
Okay. I feel like that would have been a much clearer
That
way.
really would have been a much clearer way. I really thought I was being...
Middle school biology, Punnett square, recessive genes.
Top 15 RBI, going this way. Yeah, I really thought I was being invented. This is literally just like an immaculate grid, but you've got to figure it out. On this side, we have born in Venezuela.
Oh,
And then on this side,
struggling.
we have not top 10 ERA for this year. So this is, if this makes any sense to anybody looking...
I'm confused.
Oh shit, I put my finger in it. If this makes any sense to anybody... if this makes sense to anybody looking... So this side, so you need one person who's top 10 in Ks this year and top 10 in RBIs.
You're saying a hitter who struck out.
So this column's a hitter.
Okay, when you said Ks, I thought pitchers. I was confused.
Well, this column's a pitcher because not top 10 ERA.
I see what you're saying.
So a hitter who's top 10 in strikeouts and top 15 in RBIs.
Mm-hmm.
You need a pitcher who's top 10 in strikeouts but not top 10 in ERA.
Okay.
You need a batter who's top 15 in RBIs and born in Venezuela.
Okay.
And you need a pitcher who's not top 10 in ERA and born in Venezuela.
Oh, God. The Venezuela pieces, I'm not going to do well on, and it may lead to some trouble, but okay.
Well, we're going to see. I have the answers. I have every possible solution on this piece of paper in my hand. So
this is good. I like this game because no category is easy, but I feel like they're all possible.
Yeah, they're all doable. So start where you think you're going to do. Walk us through your process for those listening.
Okay, so the first category, I feel most confident in my ability to name a pitcher who's top 10 in the league in strikeouts. Okay. I honestly think I could rattle off. I don't want to do a sub game, but I think I could rattle off the top 10 MLB leaders in Ks right now.
Okay.
Pitcher-wise. So I'm going to go through that in my head. Chris Sale is definitely top 10 in ERA. Scooble's top 10 in ERA. I think Dylan Cease is up there. I don't know if he's top 10 in ERA. I feel like Zach Wheeler is there, but also is top 10 in ERA. Cease is the first guy.
Remember, he's got to be top 10, not top 10 in ERA.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But top 10 in strikeouts.
Yes. No, yeah. So the first name that comes to mind is I feel like Dylan Cease would hit that, but I'm going to keep thinking. I also feel like Michael King might hit that. Okay.
I'm going to give you...
Actually, I think I got it.
Okay, but wait, before you say this, you have to have a certain number of guesses here, I feel like.
What do you mean?
Well, for the Immaculate Grid, you get 9 guesses.
Mm-hmm.
Let's give you 5. I'm giving you one...
One strike?
I'll give you 2 strikes. Okay. I'll give you 6 guesses to fill in the 4 spots.
I think this category, top 10 Ks, not top 10 ERA, is Yusei Kikuchi.
That is one of the 6 possible options. You can give yourself a check mark right there.
Let's go.
Okay, so...
I think Cease would be there, although Cease might be top 10 ERA. I definitely think Michael King would be there as well.
Michael King is actually not there. He's top 10 in ERA.
He's not top 10 in Ks?
He is top 10 in Ks.
Oh, he's top
both.
10?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. What a year for Michael King.
Yeah,
I have some more, not to spoil anything. I'm going to talk about him at some point. All right. Okay, well, I got it, so I'll move on to a category.
The other possible answers for that category, we had Logan Gilbert, Dylan Cease was one of them, Cole Reagans, Sonny Gray, and Freddie Peralta would have all fit in that spot.
Freddie Peralta's top 10 in Ks?
Yeah.
I feel like he's having a horrible year. I'm kind of surprised.
ERA-wise, but he strikes a lot of guys out.
But even strikeout-wise. Yeah. He had a great start to the year. He's lost all his control recently. All right. Next
category. Where are you going from here? You want to tackle one of the Venezuela categories?
I think I have to. Not top 10 in ERA. I don't know. I'm not good at nationality, so this is going to be interesting.
I'll give you a spoiler. There were no Venezuelan-born pitchers who were top 10 in the ERA.
Okay.
So basically, just name a pitcher from Venezuela.
I feel like I should have paid more attention in the World Baseball Classic. Do they have to have pitched this year? I'm thinking of a guy, but then they're not top 10 in the ERA?
This is for 2024. They have to have at least pitched an inning this year.
Okay, I feel like I leave some room for possible mishap here, but Framber Valdez?
I don't know. I don't think he's from Venezuela, but I also needed to fact check you on the spot. Framber Valdez. He's Dominican.
Okay.
I'll give you. Do you want a hint?
Can you? Okay. Can I ask for one hint?
Yeah.
Can you go back and find a player who doesn't fit this category but is Venezuelan, just so I have a reference of an MLB Venezuelan-born player? Actually, I think I know one. I think I know.
Okay.
I got 2 strikes. So what if not?
Right.
Is Pablo Lopez?
Oh. Yes. Pablo Lopez. Go. There you go.
Bang.
Okay. Give
Another
yourself a check.
And he's definitely not top 10 in the ERA. All
No,
right.
he's not.
All right. That helps me.
Okay. So there you go. You got 1 strike to work with.
Okay.
And you need a batter who's top 10 in strikeouts this season, but also top 15 in RBIs.
Hold this up again.
And you need a batter who's top 15 in RBIs and born in Venezuela.
So I need the top of the Punnett square.
You need the top of the Punnett square.
Okay, I'm gonna go for that.
Not an immaculate grid.
I'm gonna go for that K RBI one. So I feel like Aaron Judge is honestly probably up there in Ks and Ohtani because they've just been basically playing every single game and they strike out a lot. But I don't know if it's top 10. A guy like Matt Olson comes into my head, but I don't know if he's top 15 in RBI. I'm going to work off the RBI leaders. I think Judge, Ohtani, Soto, let's see, Jackson Merrill, even a guy like Teoscar Hernandez might be up there.
Do you want a kind of hint?
Sure.
There are only 3 players you can fit here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
2 in the National League, 1 in the American League. I'm giving away too much.
Yeah.
That's all you're getting.
Okay. I honestly think one of Ohtani and Judge fits this category. They strike out a lot. I don't know what hitters have struck out the most this year. I'm going to go with Ohtani. No?
No,
okay.
I'm sorry. Ohtani's not in there.
All right. So I gotta play hero ball right here. Ooh.
Ohtani's number 2 in RBIs.
What is he in Ks?
Not in the top 15. I only got the top 15 here.
How many Ks is the
not
guy
in the top 10? Not in the top 15.
How many Ks does the guy in 15th have? Did you have a number?
I don't have a number for that.
That's right.
I just took a picture of their names.
I feel like even Marcell Ozuna might be up here. That's not a guess, but
I personally thought this was the easiest category.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I struggle with hitter Ks. I don't know what hitters...
Okay, why don't you go off RBIs?
That's what I've been doing.
Why don't you try and think of some names in the top 15 RBI who you wouldn't necessarily expect to be there.
Okay. That's a good one. I feel like... All right, I'm going to run through... In the AL East, Judge and Soto are probably there. Ooh. Gunnar Henderson?
Is that your guess?
No. I feel like Gunnar Henderson might end up being my guess.
I'll give you another hint. I'm feeling really charitable today.
Mm-hmm.
One of the guys on the list is number 3 in baseball in runs batted in.
Okay.
The other is number 5, and the last one is number 14.
Okay.
In RBIs.
I'm going to throw out 14. 3 or 5. I think it's one of Ozuna Judge because I think Ohtani, Judge, Ozuna is probably the top 3 RBI leaders in the MLB. Maybe Soto, but Soto doesn't strike out like that. I don't think Bobby Witt strikes out like that. I think I'm pretty certain it's one of Gunnar, Ozuna, Judge. I could be wrong. Which one do I want to go with? After the 10 RBI game, Ohtani's got to have passed Ozuna. I'm going to go Ozuna.
I'm sorry, Ozuna's number 11 in RBIs, and he is not on here for Ks. He's not in the top 15 for Ks.
Damn. Gunner?
No.
Judge?
Judge is number 1 in RBIs and number 12 in Ks.
Who's 3?
You're done. You're cooked.
Yeah, no. Who was 3 in RBI and 5 in RBI that were in top 10 Ks?
Okay. Are you giving up, or do you want to try the Born in Venezuela?
I'll try. I mean, I've struck out, but I'll try.
Yeah, you have struck out.
The name that pops into my head is Jose Ramirez. I don't know if he's Venezuelan.
No, he's not. He's Dominican.
Okay. I really don't know who's Venezuelan. I'll give it one more deep thought. I mean, I did just say Ozuna. I don't think he's Venezuelan.
He's not Venezuelan. Top 15 RBIs and born in Venezuela. There are 3 players born in Venezuela in the top 15 RBIs.
Wow. Okay. Who are they? Lindor's Puerto Rican, right?
Yep. Do you give up?
Let me think one last time. Let me think. Contreras?
No.
Who is it?
I don't know if he's born in Venezuela or not. Actually, I think he was, but he's not top 15 RBIs. You could have gone with
who could have been the answers for RBIs and Ks?
RBIs and Ks. So top 15 RBI, top 10 strikeouts. The possible answers were Willy Adames, who's number 5.
I almost said Willy Adames for Venezuela.
I don't think he's
Venezuelan, so I didn't. But yeah.
Number 3 in RBIs and also top 10 in Ks, Brent Rooker.
I should have gotten that one.
Yeah, and also Kyle Schwarber.
Schwarber, okay. I should have got Brent Rooker.
Yeah.
I want to look up the RBI lead. Okay.
And then born in Venezuela and top 15 RBIs are 3 players: Sal Perez, Anthony Santander, and Eugenio Suarez.
He's top 15 in RBIs.
Yeah, he's number 14, I believe.
I'm not mad about missing that.
Yeah,
wow.
That was a tough one. I gave you a tough puzzle today. Mm-hmm. Not gonna lie, it was tough.
Wait.
But what?
Judge has the same amount of strikeouts as Brent Rooker. And Ohtani's
he wasn't on my list for strikeouts.
And Ozuna's 2 back.
What are you looking at? I got this from Fangraphs.
I'm looking at so that it's top 15.
No,
Judge's
top 10 strikeouts. It was top 10 strikeouts, top 15 RBIs.
Well, Rooker's 12.
Rooker's number 3 on here for me. So this is strikeouts. This is RBI.
No, that's pitchers.
Oh no. This is strikeouts. This is RBI.
Can I see strikeouts?
Yeah, this is strikeouts.
It must have just changed in the past day.
I guess.
All right.
Well,
because it's thin margins. All right, I lost.
Thin margins. You still would have gotten out on the Venezuela bit anyway. So
yeah.
Well.
All right. I like that game. I like
tough.
that. And that's never been invented before. That pun and square
right,
game has
definitely
not gotten like super popular.
Yeah, nothing
like
nothing of the sort. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Specifically in the baseball niche.
Yeah. So.
I like that game. That's fun.
There you go.
That was fun. Do you think we should use the whiteboards for our headlines?
No, I don't think so. I think we can just read them. I don't know how it might upset like the feng shui of the magical mystery mist.
Yeah, that's true. That would piss off the magical mystery mist.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, but let's talk about it.
Let's go ahead and talk some headlines.
It is the beginning of November 2024. What are the headlines? Well, we have them. We have the headlines.
We have them.
We got the script.
We do.
Courtesy of the magical mystery mist of the future. And we will read them off. Even though ours might, if ours conflict, one of us is right. Maybe one of us got shown like a fake script.
Right, yeah. There's got to be at least a small margin of error with the magical.
Yeah. I mean, it's like 75% accurate.
Yeah.
It has some side effects. It may result in a heart attack.
50% of the time, it works every time.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
That's actually the note that it said when I opened it. So, okay. So should I? Do you want to spray it first, or do you want me to spray it?
You spray it and you kick us off.
Okay. We both have to inhale really hard.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Inhale. What did you get? It's probably strong.
It's strong. Oh boy. Okay.
He's high on cleaning supply.
Oh. Okay.
Or magical mystery mist of the future.
Okay. It's coming to me.
Oh God, we should open the door. Oh. Oh my God! Open the door. This thing had no return address. Could be somebody trying to kill you. Okay. Let's get it out.
The magical mystery.
I mean, how badly do we want the script?
Yeah, I think we want it. The people want it. Okay, it's come to me.
All right. So I think
headline number 1.
I think you should go off. Just say your headline and then dive into the context. Headline number 1.
Royals stun O's. Have a date with the Yankees in the ALDS.
I like it. Honestly, I don't think it's that bold.
Well, the magical mystery mist gets bolder as time goes on.
Yeah, no, I don't mean that as an insult. I more meant it as I kind of agree with you.
Okay.
I think the O's are floundering.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's not to say the Royals aren't either. I mean, both teams are trending negatively. I'm going to close this again.
It's out of the room now.
Yeah, we can open it.
It's into the hallway. Somebody's going to have an epiphany out there.
Yeah. You started choking. Okay, so I mean, like I was saying, both teams are trending negatively, but no team is trending as negatively as the Orioles. I mean, the Orioles are not good lately.
The Royals are probably the comparable team that's trending negatively, besides maybe the Twins.
Yeah,
it's a whole AL wild card.
Right. Well, that's kind of why I brought this up as an idea. I think that's why the Magical Mystery Mist of the Future decided to focus on this thing, because things are a little bit hazy right now. It can, its disinfecting properties can really clean things up. Mm-hmm. So I'm trusting a Reagan's Lugo 1-2 more than what the Orioles are going to trot out, because there's this whole conundrum right now with Grayson Rodriguez.
Yep.
Whether he's going to be back in time for the playoffs. If not, that they got to go to Zach Eflin, who I really don't trust in a big game the way he's pitched the majority of this year.
He's kind of turned it around recently.
He has, but still...
Since coming to Baltimore, I think he has.
I'm still taking a Rugen's logo.
Rugen. It's Cale Rugen.
Cale.
That sounds like a cross-country runner who
it really does.
Who won gold in some event.
I'm taking Cale Rugens and Seth Lego.
Wait, that's crazy that you just said Lego, because I have a reference to Legos in here, but
that's crazy.
We'll get to it.
We gotta stay on task.
Yeah.
I'm taking them over whatever the Orioles trot out. It's just tough because Rodriguez is a huge question mark. Mm-hmm. He was pitching well before he got hurt, but do you trust him in a big game in this situation?
Kind of shat the bed last year in his one playoff start.
He really did. And the Royals hitters have seen Corbin Burnes quite a bit, and they've hit pretty well against him. Salvador Perez is 6 for 12 with a homer and 5 RBIs against Corbin Burnes. Bobby Witt's seen him 9 times, and he's doubled. Paul DeYoung is 7 for 22 with 2 home runs, a double, and 8 RBIs off Corbin Burnes. So you're just looking at the track record. It's a guy that they've seen more. Neither of the Royals' pitchers in Reagan's and Lugo have had more than 31 at-bats against Baltimore Orioles hitters. Mm-hmm. So exposure is a big thing. They haven't hit particularly well in that time. Lugo, in his 29 at-bats against Baltimore Orioles hitters, has only given up 2 runs. I just think that I'm taking the momentum of this Royals team right now, even though it's not good momentum. It's still not as bad as the Orioles. Mm-hmm. And the Royals are just so streaky, and I'm kind of banking on them in this situation to be the Royals that we saw in the second half during the period where they went 23-13, rather than the second half Royals where they've gone 7-14.
Yeah.
I think once October comes, the dynamic shift is different. I think that the 2 starting pitchers we're seeing, I'm giving favor to Kansas City. And just because of how poorly things have been going for this Orioles lineup lately, I don't have faith. And we saw them fall flat on their faces in the playoffs last year. I really would be kind of upset to see it happen again, but at the same time, it would be very exciting to see Kansas City make it that far. And this isn't even a prediction. It's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I think, that's number one headline. Royals stun O's have a date with the Yankees in the ALDS.
Perhaps we got a different batches of Magical Mystery Miss, because I filled out my playoff bracket, and then I went from there what would be the headlines. I had the Royals over the Orioles.
Okay.
I flipped it back. But when I had the Royals over the Orioles, my headline was actually Brandon Hyde.
Well, you got to spray it.
My headline was actually... Oh, it's all over my computer.
Gotta mind you.
My headline was that Brandon Hyde gets canned.
Wow.
If the Orioles lose in round 1. Do you think that happens?
I mean, if your mist is as good as my mist, I think it could happen.
Yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly.
The second half has been a disaster. Now, I know there's lots of injuries. They've lost Grayson Rodriguez. I mean, Jordan Westbrook's an absolutely massive bat that they need back for the postseason. I mean, even Ramon Urias was hitting really, really well. But the second half is just inexcusable. There's something wrong. Santander seems like the only guy who's really going to step up in the postseason. There's a lot of questions about the bottom of their lineup.
Put Adley in detention yesterday. He's got 3 home runs in the second half.
Yeah.
4 since the beginning of June.
He's been horrible.
July.
He's been absolutely terrible. I mean, James McCann had 2 home runs last night. Is he the better catcher option?
At this point.
I would say also, I think the Orioles just had one of the worst trade deadlines of all time.
Uh-huh.
That was horrible. I mean, every move they've made, even the Kimbrel move in the offseason, they've just completely shit the bed.
Every at-bat you take, every move you make, every at-bat you take.
Exactly. You get DFA'd. You know, I don't even think that rhymed. But
no, it didn't.
I thought it did for a second in my head. So, yeah, it would be a really interesting series. It's 2 teams falling flat on their face. Royals have lost 6 in a row. I don't know. That Vinny P injuries are really, really tough one to overcome.
That's a tough one to overcome.
I'm not sure any of these teams are making noise besides one playoff series win in the playoffs, but I do think the Orioles are just more talented. That being said, I do think Cole Ragans, or whatever you called him, Cale Rogans is probably going to be the pitcher I have the most confidence in that series. Burns has been... I mean, Bert, are you really coughing? Is it the myth?
Yeah, I am, yeah.
Maybe that's the last spray, or maybe we should open it.
All right, we need the script.
Yeah, we'll get some toxins in there for the podcast episode. Burns has been really up and down. Like, how much confidence do you have in Burns, like, in a playoff game? Like, what are you thinking a Game 1 line looks like for him versus the Royals?
I mean, obviously, I think the Royals win that series based off what I just said, but
yeah,
I do think it's just such on polar opposite ends of the spectrum for me. I think he either goes 6 2/3 with 11 Ks, 4 hits, and a walk, or he goes, an inning and 2/3 and gives up 7 earned runs, 3 homers to Bobby Witt, Sal Perez, and Paul DeYoung. I mean,
yeah,
there's really... I just feel like he's one of those types of guys where it's just like you either get his best or you see him at his worst.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically been the season for him. In August, he goes 4 earned runs in the start, 3 earned runs in the start, 8 earned runs, 5 earned runs. And then now in September, he's gone 1 earned run, 2 earned run, 0 earned run, 0 earned run. So it's really just kind of hit or miss stuff with him. Yeah, and that's why I have more confidence in Ragans. And who's a guy who's top 5 in the league in Ks, has just been pretty incredible this entire year. And it's like if Corbin Burns is at his best and Cole Ragans is at his best, that upside is higher with Ragans with the strikeouts and just kind of funky delivery and the nasty stuff. So
well, what's so interesting about this series for me is because you see that volatility and those violent swings back and forth between it being great and being shit with Corbin Burns. And you also see those violent swings just with both of these teams in general in the course of their seasons. I mean, like I said, the Royals have gone 23-13 for one period in the second half, and they've also gone 7-14 for a period in the second half. Obviously, the Royals are arguably the best team in the American League in the first half of the season, and then they've completely shot the bed in the second half. So, it really just depends on what version of these teams and what versions of these players we see show up in this series. But right now, I got to put my money on the Royals.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
If this ends up being the series.
I think it will be. I think it will be with the way the other teams are the Twins are falling off. The Orioles are not catching the Yankees.
Right.
So, yeah, I think at the end of the day, what swayed me back to the Orioles was just, it's a super long season and it's a super young team, so I feel like there could just be this period of time where they lose interest a little bit, but that start of the playoffs is going to really reset that, in my opinion, and I just think they're a more talented team.
So your headline is Brandon Hyde gets shit canned.
Well, if I had the Royals winning that, initially when I had the Royals winning that series, that was my headline.
Oh, so you don't have it?
I don't have it.
Oh, you wasted spritzes of the Magical Mystery
Well, I was
Mist
saying
on
it was
a non-existent
hypothetical.
headline.
I said it was hypothetical.
Nothing about the Magical Mystery Mist is hypothetical.
I didn't
it's
spray it.
It's the Magical Mystery Mist of you sprayed it.
Well, I'm going to spray it now because it's my first headline.
Use it sparingly at this point.
My first okay, it's really getting everywhere, and I don't think we should continue to spray it.
We need to spray it. We're not going to know the headlines.
All right.
We're not going to know headlines unless we spray it.
I think I went a little bit more into the fun headline naming than you did with your boring-ass headline. My first headline, Dodgers, divisional disappointment, deja vu.
The alliteration is killing me.
You don't like alliteration? I'm going to say
too
it again.
Much.
Dodgers, divisional disappointment, deja vu.
What about a dumb dickhead? Can you throw that in there?
No, I can't. The Mist didn't say that. All right. Headline or not, I think the Dodgers are in trouble.
Okay, pardon the interruption. Magical Mist. We inhaled a few too many fumes of the Magical Mystery Mist, and
went a little too crazy.
It went a little too crazy.
But as a result, I checked my phone. Matthew did not check his phone.
No.
And we have some breaking news that I am going to read off to Matthew to get his live reaction. All right, this is a two-part story.
How crazy is the news?
It's unexpected.
Okay.
First part of the news, the Nationals have optioned...
Oh, I did see that. I saw they optioned C.J. Abrams.
Did you see why?
No, I didn't see why.
Source, C.J. Abrams was at the Bally's Casino in the Loop until 8 a.m. this morning for 1 p.m. game. Usually I wouldn't just read off an unnamed source on Twitter, but I'm not going to say this person's name. I do have a friend who told me this, who works at a casino 3 weeks ago. That C.J. Abrams was at the casino every fucking night.
That's crazy.
So if that's now two things, so I'm choosing to buy that story. Also, he's having a really good last 2 weeks, so why would they set him down at this point in the year? It has to be behavior related.
Wow, that's insane.
Crazy story.
That you know somebody who works at a casino.
Yeah. I actually was told the story like 3 weeks ago, and I was like, I don't know if that's true, but that's clearly true, I guess.
Fucking crazy.
All right, but anyway.
Okay, anyway, the Magical Mystery Mist, you could spray it like once, yeah. Okay, that's enough for just to jog your memories on what you were saying.
All right, my third headline.
Your headline, yeah.
An alliteration. Yeah. Dodgers divisional disappointment deja vu. The Dodgers go down in the divisional round to a divisional opponent again. So, lost in everything that's happened with Ohtani in the past week, the 50-50, the 10 RBI game, is the fact that now Ohtani is a national news story to the point that he has not been before. Yeah. Ohtani's obviously amazing, but we're not talking Ohtani on First Take on these ESPN metrics that aren't really focused on baseball. And now we are. And he's plastered all over the MLB Instagram. It's like 17 consecutive posts.
It's not as plastered as C.J. Abrams.
Yeah. At 8 a.m. in the morning, yeah. Now it'll be plastered in wherever AAA. Yeah. They probably picked the affiliate that didn't have a casino close by.
Probably.
But lost in all that is now the fact that there's going to be even more pressure on the Dodgers in the postseason, even more eyeballs on the Dodgers, and even more eyeballs on Shohei Ohtani, who's already naturally going to feel pressure from it being his first postseason on the team that is probably the favorite, or at least was a favorite as of a few weeks ago. And I said this when the Dodgers signed Ohtani. I think this is an unbelievable thing to happen to the MLB, because now we have not only do we have Ohtani in the playoffs, but we have an NL villain kind of similar to the Yankees. There will be casual fans tuning in, rooting against the Dodgers, dancing on their grave if they do go out, like I predict, in the divisional round again. And I think it's pretty likely that they're going to face a divisional opponent. They now tied the Phillies for the 1 seed, and the Padres and Diamondbacks are the 4 and the 5. I mean, there's going to be 2 NL West wildcard teams, so there's a 66% chance, I guess, that they'll play one of them. And every home run he hits is just going to amplify this story, and I don't think he's done hitting home runs.
So you're blaming Shohei Ohtani for being good for the reason the Dodgers are going to get a
No. I'm not done. That was more my intro. I'm just saying there will be more pressure on the Dodgers right now in the playoffs. And we've seen how the Dodgers handle pressure. The main reason that I'm picking against the Dodgers is the starting rotation. They have a massive starting pitching problem. I mean, Bobby Miller has never found it. They've officially given up on him. They sent him down. He's having just a horrendous year. And now Tyler Glasnow, not only does Tyler Glasnow have an elbow injury and he's out for the year, I don't know if he's going to pitch next year. Yeah. And the Dodgers have invested so many resources into this team that the window is not as open as they think it is. I mean, they've given away valuable prospects. They've given away Ryan Pepio's having a good year. They've given away Michael Busch.
They're just going to have to keep spending and spending and spending.
Exactly. And as a result, when you spend on the top, your depth is compromised. And that's what we're seeing right now. The Dodgers have 4 startable, healthy pitchers in the entire organization right now that could conceivably start a playoff game. It's Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Jack Flaherty, Walker Buehler, and Landon Knack.
All guys with injury history, too.
And that's exactly what I'm going to say. One of them, Yamamoto, the last time he pitched 5 innings in a Major League Baseball game was June 7th. On June 7th, the Astros, the Mets, the Padres, and the Diamondbacks were all under 500. That's how long ago it was.
That's crazy.
That is not a guy, and that's probably game 1 starter, maybe game 2. The only guy who you can conceivably have any confidence in starting a playoff game right now is Jack Flaherty.
Yeah.
Then go down the line. It's Landon Knack, who's going to be the game 4 starter. He's thrown 61 career innings, and he has a 4.8 whip. And he's going to throw on the road because the Dodgers are going to have home field advantage.
He's a what whip?
He's a 4 FIP, sorry.
FIP. I was going to say
FIP. Yeah.
4.8
That would be Bobby Miller numbers. Bobby Miller has been horrible. And then the last guy, we have Walker Buehler. Walker Buehler, I feel so bad for the guy. He's an unbelievable postseason pitcher, kind of creating this incredible postseason career and Dodgers career, and his arm's just gone. 2 Tommy John surgeries. He didn't even get that big contract. And the Dodgers are going to hand him the ball. He has an 18 K percentage and an 8.7 walk percentage. That means that he is a 9.3 K percentage to walk percentage. I challenge you right now. Think of the worst pitcher you can in the MLB this season, and I'm going to find their K percentage to walk percentage. I think it's going to be better, if not comparable, to Buehler's.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot.
No, I would say Patrick Corbin because of the history, but...
That's a great one. No, let's look up Corbin.
Fine,
Let's look up Corbin. So Buehler's was 9.3. Patrick Corbin's is... Let's see.
His K to walk is what?
His K to walk is 7.2. So, okay, that's pretty comparable. His K to walk is 11. His K percentage to walk percentage.
Right.
K percentage.
It's percentage to percentage. I see what
it's K percentage minus walk percentage.
Yeah.
If you do that to Buehler, you get 9.3. If you do it to Corbin, has a better one. It's 11.2.
Yeah.
That's how bad Walker Buehler has been. I don't think there's really any pitchers in the league that are that bad.
The strikeout stuff is gone.
It's gone. It's totally gone. And I don't even think... And then to segue to my larger point, which is that the window isn't as open as you think it is, I don't know if that's ever coming back. I don't know if Tyler Glasnow's pitching next year. Bobby Miller, who was supposed to be one of the franchise starters after his rookie year, his confidence is completely gone. Ryan Pepio's gone. I mean, do we know if Ohtani's going to be a pitcher? I'm not doubting that guy at any point anymore.
Dave Roberts risk it and throw him in the rotation in the playoffs if he's not ready?
I think if the Dodgers get to the World Series or make a long postseason run, it's possible. He's not even close to pitching early in the playoffs. Right. And the Dodgers GM Brandon Gomes, I take it at face value because these guys, they're trying to get competitive advantage for sure, but just did an interview and said that's not even in the plans, that Ohtani's going to pitch in the playoffs. They have 4 guys left. And then Teoscar is a free agent. Betts is 33. So I think it's going to be another early Dodgers loss to a divisional opponent. And I think we got real questions about their future and their championship window. And if it's another divisional opponent, they lost to the Padres last year. They lost to the Diamondbacks last year. They lost to the Padres 2 years ago. I mean, what do you do? You're out of moves. That's 3 straight years you're losing to a superior divisional opponent. And yeah, that's what I think. And I think, obviously, I'm not blaming Ohtani. I just think with everything that's going on with the 50-50 club and, his historic run, there's now even more pressure on this team.
Yeah, I think you make good points. I think the Magical Mystery misses onto something there because, when you sprayed, I started to see signs of something similar for me. My headline from the Magical Mystery Mist of the Future is fans everywhere call playoff format into question as Mets, Padres both advance beyond top-seeded Dodgers and Phillies to the NLCS.
I like it. So you're thinking similar to last year?
I'm thinking similar to last year. I mean, how many times do we have to see this play out before we seriously consider a change to the playoff format? I don't want to rant about it too much, but even if both teams aren't as good on paper as the teams that they're playing in the divisional series, I mean, I feel like the Padres do match up to the Phillies on paper, but the Mets don't necessarily match up to the Dodgers. Mm-hmm. This is as things stand right now.
Yeah.
With the bracket as it is. But even if they don't match up on paper, the break in play and the history of being in that spot that the Dodgers and Padres are in is enough to close the gap, and I'd say even give an advantage to their opponents in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not talking about any two National League teams playing the Dodgers and the Phillies in these series. We're talking about arguably the two best teams in the National League in the second half of the season. I mean, both teams are playing with heart. You know, the Mets lineup has really turned it on. If Francisco Lindor is healthy for the playoffs, I mean, that's a huge bat and a huge glove that they've got in that infield.
He's their leader.
Right, he's their leader, very much. You know, you got the OMG Mets, you got the Grimace Seat Mets, you got the Padres with Tatis back in the lineup, Jackson and Merrill far exceeding everybody's expectations. I don't want to go on too much about the Padres because we talked about them a lot last episode. But, I mean, we don't need to dwell on this point either because you kind of hit a lot of the points about the Dodgers that I wanted to say and why I think that they're vulnerable in the divisional series. But, no, I think that the way the playoffs are set up favors the wild card teams tremendously because it's not just one game anymore. It's a series that they're playing. It's the reps that they're getting in. It's the week that they're playing that the other team isn't playing. And like you said last time about the Phillies, too, they're the hunted team now. The whole dynamic for them is different. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if they make a deep playoff run, but I just don't think that this format favors the teams that miss out on the first round. I think rather than a bye, it's a bye-bye.
Yeah. No, you're totally right. I mean, we saw it last year. It's exactly what happened last year in the National League. And
the last 2 years.
Last 2 years, I was going to say, with that Padres-Phillies NLCS. I think you make a good point about those two teams specifically, too. If with all the momentum the Padres and Mets have kind of garnered together in the regular season, they then double that and win their first-round series. I mean, those two teams are going to be shitting themselves. The Phillies and the Dodgers are going to be shitting themselves, especially with a team as talented as the Padres.
Yeah.
And, so do you think, let's say that happens, do you think there are any tangible changes in baseball? Do you think...
I think it's going to be, I don't know the inner workings of, like, the agreements and stuff that they have for how long you can go before changing the playoff, but I think there's going to be more call for a switch than there has been the past 2 years. I've been calling for it from year one because I personally think 12 playoff teams is too much. That's more than a third of the league making the postseason. We see teams that are, like, honestly mid, like the Twins, and sorry Tigers fans, but the Tigers, I mean, they're not playoff caliber teams. Even the fucking Diamondbacks last year weren't a playoff caliber team when they made the playoffs, and they ended up going on the run. They obviously proved they deserved to be there, but that's aside from the point. I think if this happens, if the magical mystery mist, and I mean it is correct, it's the magical mystery mist of the future, it knows all. If it's correct, and the Mets and Padres do end up in the NLCS or the top-seeded Phillies and Dodgers, I think if anything sets it up for a change, it's your big market teams like the Dodgers, like the Phillies, like the Yankees, all getting eliminated in the first round in the divisional series of the playoffs. I think if it ever brings Rob Manfred to the point of really considering realigning the playoffs to be more similar to what we saw in the past, it would be that. So anyway, that's my point there. We can move on to the next one unless you got any closing thoughts on this.
No, I agree, and this is kind of a perfect year for that because the Dodgers are getting a bye, because the Phillies are getting a bye, because the Yankees are getting a bye. But regardless, if the lower seeded teams continue to win, that's going to hurt MLB's revenue. I mean,
right.
Do
the
they
revenue you add by adding additional TV coverage of more games and more markets in it, but it's not the markets MLB really wants moving through the playoffs. So
I mean, the MLB doesn't want Sean Manaea taking the ball game. He's had an unbelievable year, credit to him, but they don't want him to take the ball in game one of the NLCS. They want Yoshinobu Yamamoto to take it against Zach Wheeler.
Right, they want Garrett Cole going in there against, I guess it would be either somebody on the Orioles or
Valdez, Framber
probably
Valdez.
not the Orioles.
Or it'd be Cleveland.
Or it could be Cleveland, could be Houston,
Yeah.
could be Kansas City.
I mean, it doesn't
San
always
Diego.
align, but in general, it's a trend for
Right.
sure that the big markets are going to be the top seeds.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. It's you're adding a lot of momentum, and yeah, I'm sure this will be a conversation continued throughout October. All right.
Spray it that way. That room hasn't gotten a lot of coverage.
My number 2 prediction, before I tell you my headline,
Okay.
I want to kind of scope this out a little bit. I'm going to name some players, and I want you to try. It's like a connection style game. You try to find
Okay.
the correlation here, what this is
I
about.
gotta find the theme. Okay.
All right. We just talked about him. C.J. Abrams,
Yeah.
Josh Naylor, David Bednar, Trey Turner, Brent Rooker, James Wood, Max Fried,
It's a lot
Andres
of names.
Munoz.
It's a lot of names all at once.
I'll go through again. Abrams, Naylor, Bednar, Wood, Turner, Trey Turner, Brent Rooker, Max Fried, Andres Munoz. What do they have in common?
Bro, I don't have the slightest.
All right,
inkling
that's
of an
good.
idea.
What they have in common is the fact that A.J. Preller has traded on them.
Okay.
And that leads me to my number 2 headline. I don't know if this is going to make sense.
Magical Mystery, Mr. Futures.
I tried to get really creative with the headline here. It's not let go in Lego land. Because San Diego's Lego land, you know. Yeah, all right.
where
Regardless of
these
the
came
headline,
from.
I think A.J. Preller has had one of the most topsy-turvy...
Can you say this headline again? I think that people don't quite understand where you're going.
Okay, I'm gonna break it down really slow. Not let go,
Not let go
so not fired, in Lego land.
in Legoland.
San Diego is Lego. I didn't want to add the land, but I felt like not let go, like it's a little alliteration. So it sounds like a New York Times style.
I think you need a different strain of weed. This is
Not let go in Lego land. It makes sense, right?
Tell us the content at this
All
point.
right. I think the San Diego Padres advance to the World Series. They don't win it. They advance to the World Series. They win the National League, and they save A.J. Preller's job. That's what I think happens. A.J. Preller has had maybe the most topsy-turvy campaign of any general manager in baseball history. He's maybe the most bold general manager in baseball history. I just listed all the names he's traded. We could talk about the names he's traded for. Dylan Cease, Fernando Tatis, Juan Soto. I mean, the list goes on and on. He gave Manny Machado $300 million. The fact is that the jury is still really out on his tenure. He's hired in 2014. He tried to, go crazy and win the division and make all those trades for, Matt Kemp and Yasmani Grandal got traded in the Upton brothers, and it fell flat on his face, and he gave up the farm. And they're like, all right, this is a little too early into the tenure to give up on you. So what did he do? He bought back. He's an incredible prospect evaluator, and he built the greatest farm, probably of what at the time the Padres had the number 1 farm in 2017, 2018. I mean, he got Fernando Tatis for James Shields. It's an incredible move. He's made some absolutely incredible moves. He's made some absolutely boneheaded moves, but they've won 1 playoff series in his 10 years. That's a very long time for a GM to be in one place with 1 playoff series won. And just think about last
if you
year.
count the wild card, it's more than 1.
Yeah. I guess if you count the wild card, it's more than 1. If you count the wild card, it's 3.
3.
Yeah, but I mean, one in the expanded series. But he's made the NLCS 1 time, and they didn't really come close to winning that series versus the Phillies. Last year, it's incredible. I didn't realize how ridiculous the Padres team was last year. It's basically this year's team plus Juan Soto, plus Blake Snell, plus Josh Hader, plus Seth Lugo. It's all these guys. That's a massive, massive disappointment. And I think if the Padres had fallen flat on their face again this year, he would be out. But I think he saves his job, and the Padres finally break through to the World Series. I mean, we talked about the team itself a lot, especially the lineup last week. I'll just quickly talk about the pitchers. Starting pitchers in the MLB with a hard hit percentage under 34% and a K percentage over 28%. It's a very interesting statistic because it's really hard to get whiffs
Within both of those margins.
Exactly, because if you're getting whiffs a lot of the time, when you do get hits, they're going a long way. But to be able to get strikeouts and limit hard contact, there are 2 players who fit that description. It's Chris Sale and it's Michael King.
Wow.
And I have the utmost faith in Dylan Cease and Michael King at the top of that rotation to go with their lineup that's been incredible and incredibly clutch and fun. And then, Joe Musgrove is getting back into form at a great start last night. Yu Darvish is getting back into form. They built this super pen. I think they finally break through, make a World Series, and A.J. Preller is vindicated for all his craziness.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my number 2. No, not let go in Lego land.
I'm going to ignore the headline, but I honestly feel like we're very much on the same page on the Padres. I mean, obviously, the Magical Mystery Mist of the future told me that it's going to be a Padres-Mets NLCS, and without going too far into it, I do definitely take the Padres in that series against the Mets, I think in 7 games. Just the rotation alone sets the difference for me, and I do think that they have a deeper lineup. To have Luis Severino and Sean Manaea, no discredit to either of them, but I'd much rather have Dylan Cease and Michael King.
Mm-hmm. And you'd much rather have their 3-4, too.
Absolutely. So I like where you're headed with that one. I like where your head's at. I like where the Mist was at.
You like where my head's at when I made the headline?
I didn't like that so much. But
all right.
I think it's time for the Magical Mystery Mist. Yeah, we don't have too much left, so I do want to use it and make sure that this is a really, really good
Should I
headline.
drum roll? The headline, early November 2024, is...
Astros villain arc not dead. Drown Yankees in 7 again to move to the World Series and win the AL pennant.
I like it. It's... Yeah,
the Astros winning the World Series was one of my first and only predictions for this year. It was that the Astros were not done.
Mm-hmm.
And most of my takes to start this season were bad, I'll admit. But this is one that I've got to stick with. You can look at their team and say that they're not as dominant as they were in prior playoff runs. But that's all completely out the window once you're in the playoffs. They're going to be in the wild card this year because they're not catching the Yankees or the Guardians in record.
No, they're not.
Before the end of the season.
But they'll get some shitty team in the first round.
They'll get some. I mean, they'll probably get. They could get
Minnesota,
Detroit,
maybe Seattle.
Right. They're gonna steamroll through the wild card series. They're gonna keep having their reps and getting them in, and then they play Cleveland. Mm-hmm. Most likely, and
they'll be the favorite.
They'll be the favorite, of course, because
experience
and talent. That's really the main thing. Is that this lineup has so much playoff experience, and no matter who is in this lineup, they have the ability to turn on in the playoffs. I mean, Jose Altuve hit 4 homers in the playoffs last year. Yordan Alvarez hit 6 and batted .465 with a 1.487 OPS in the playoffs last year. Jeremy Pena won Championship Series and World Series MVP 2 years ago. Even fucking Jose Abreu, I know he's not on the team anymore, but he's just an example. He had 4 home runs and 13 RBIs in the playoffs this year. He's not even in the majors anymore, It's like, there's something about being on the Houston Astros in October elevates them, elevates everybody in their lineup, elevates their entire dynamic and aura. Mm-hmm. This is a scary, scary team to play in October. They have insane experience. Alex Bregman has played 97 playoff games in his career, and he hasn't even hit unrestricted free agency yet. Yeah. Jason Hayward's played in 12 playoff series. Justin Verlander's been shaky this year, but he's had 226 postseason innings. That's more than an entire season of baseball just in the postseason. Yeah. I mean,
I don't know if he's going to make their playoff roster.
That would be insane. He's going to make the playoff roster.
He's the 6th best starting pitcher on their team right now.
He's making the playoff roster. There's absolutely no way they're keeping JV off the playoff roster.
We'll see.
Just for presence alone, he's making it.
He's not playing a role in it, but sure.
Maybe he'll come out of the pen or something, but I'm just saying, they have the experience. They have the guys who have been there and done that. We know that the Astros love October baseball. We know that the Twins don't. And that's who they're set to play as of right now. We know that the Yankees don't love October baseball, and the Yankees especially don't love October baseball against the Houston Astros. Mm-hmm. Their pitching you just mentioned, Justin Verlander is the 6th best pitcher in their rotation right now. They've got the 2nd best ERA as a team among playoff teams, 3rd in baseball in the second half this season. The lineup is, I would say, just as alive as ever. Kyle Tucker is back. Mm-hmm. There's no reason to backtrack on my original prediction that I made at the beginning of the season that the Astros are going to be in the World Series again this year. Magical Mystery Mist has confirmed it. It's going to be an Astros-Padres World Series.
All right. So we have the same NL team. I want to push back a little bit.
Okay.
I think that the Astros' fate is going to be... It's not a huge disagreement. I think the Astros' fate is going to be very similar to last year, which is they come incredibly close to the World Series, but just kind of... I think the other team's lineup's a little better. What scares me about Houston is, yes, this is the most confident I've ever felt in their starting rotation, for sure. It's absolutely disgusting. We talked about it. The rotations last week, Kikuchi, we already talked about him earlier, might start game 3 behind Valdez and Brown. Blanco's thrown a no-hitter, has been great. Arrighetti, the spaghetti man, has been good. What scares me about their lineup is 5 through 9, it's not that good. I don't think it's a good lineup. It's Diaz to Pena to Caratini to Myers to Dubon. McCormick has fallen off a lot this year. That's kind of a big loss, I think.
Okay, but before you get too deep into this, sure, maybe the lineup is a little bit shallow in that bottom half. But of the teams that they're potentially going to play, can you say that any of them have a stronger 4 through 9 than the Astros?
Well, I'll get to my number one prediction.
I feel like there's weakness all around, but go ahead. Magical Mr. Last spray of the afternoon.
My number one prediction, the headline, Juan of a kind. The New York Yankees, on the back of Juan Soto's epic postseason, will win the World Series.
Oh my God!
Leading to an incredible free agency, a contract maybe only matched by Shohei Ohtani.
Holy cow!
And the New York Yankees go through their nemesis, the Houston Astros, in the ALCS.
Whoa!
They conquer that mountain, and then they beat the Padres, and they win the World Series.
Wow!
One of a kind. I mean, this guy is unbelievable in the postseason so far in his career. I know he was...
If he's healthy.
If he's healthy.
He's battling a little injury right now.
Yeah, he came in, he pinch hit last night, he hit the game-winning double. Yeah. There's one at bat. A 927 OPS over, and that in his playoffs for the Nationals. And that's not like it was one series. This is a long time. That's a shit ton of at-bats to maintain a 927 OPS. He hit home runs in the biggest game, Game 5 versus the Dodgers, trailing late. He hit home runs late in the World Series off Justin Verlander in his prime.
Yeah.
He's not scared of the moment. He's one of the rare guys in the league who's going to embrace the extra pressure. That's fun to him. It's going to be so much fun to him to play playoff games in Yankee Stadium. And I think that protection of Aaron Judge will only help Aaron Judge have more confidence in the playoffs. And even in his kind of down playoffs with the Padres, Soto still had a 727 OPS, and there was clearly something not working in San Diego. I think we've seen it since he's come over. Also, this has been the year of the contract year hitter in Major League Baseball. Tyler O'Neill, contract year, 31 home runs. Anthony Santander, contract year, 42 home runs. Willy Adames, contract year, 32 home runs. Newsflash, people like money. And with free agency on the precipice, I think Juan Soto is going to play even better to get a bigger contract. And then to go through the rest of the Yankees, I mean, their pitching is really coming together. Luke Weaver absolutely changes things.
I think he's going to be their go-to closer.
He will be their go-to closer for sure. He's got a 296 SIERA on the year, a 30.4 K percentage. Last 8.1 innings, 0 earned runs. Any guesses on strikeouts over that
How
stretch?
many innings?
8.1.
16.
19.
Wow.
19 strikeouts. Weaver, since August 1st, guess his K percentage. It's 20-something innings.
Since August 1st? 45.
It's 39.3. Okay. I mean, 45 would be insane. Buehler's,
that would be insane, yeah.
For context, was 18. He's pretty much double that. He's over double that. He's really figured out pitch selection. He's not throwing sliders or knuckle curves like he did last year. His cutter is out. He's throwing it 11% more. His changeup 8% more. His changeup is just disgusting. The whiff percentage.
Yeah,
I know you get
filthy.
a lot.
No, he's filthy.
You get more whiffs on changeups, but 47.2 whiff
That's
percentage.
Wild, yeah.
Expected OPS off his changeup. Any guesses?
You're asking me a lot. Expected OPS off his changeup, 380.
Okay, I think you think that he's like the greatest player ever. It's 489.
I mean, you're telling me he's striking out half the batters he faces.
380 OPS. What are the guys? Does he have a hit all years? Just walked.
All right, fine. Make me feel stupid.
No, you're making me feel stupid because now my numbers are they're not as crazy as I thought they would sound. The changeup had a -6 run value last year. He's completely changed that around.
And then you did your deep dive into Luke Weaver.
Yeah, I mean, he might have saved my fantasy season this week, so I really owe it to the guy. But, I mean, that's a huge deal. I did my deep dive because it's a huge deal to take Clay Holmes out. That was the Yankees' weakness, and now it's a strength. And and even pitching in general, I think, has become a strength for the Yankees over this last month. Garrett Cole goes 9 innings yesterday versus the A's. He's been really solid since August 1st, 9 starts. I'm not going to ask you to guess anything else because it'll make me feel stupid. He's got a whip under 1, an opposing batting average of 193, a 268 FIP, and that's including that horrible start versus Boston, who he normally struggles against. Like, that's not like, because I think the question all year has been like, will he regain his form? He was pitching like that against Boston a lot when he was in his peak. So, like, it's not something to necessarily be super concerned about. And then just filling out the rest of the rotation, Clark Schmidt's a big addition back into the team.
Yeah, he is. He was excellent before he got injured.
And he's been pretty good in his first couple starts back. I mean, Carlos Rodon has been a little bit more solid recently.
Nestor Cortez has pitched pretty well since he got demoted to the bullpen and brought back to the rotation.
Exactly. So I think the Yankees look really solid into October, and I think Soto has an epic postseason and carries them to a World Series title and kicks off a fascinating free agency.
Wow. Contract prediction?
12 years, $600 million.
It's a lot of
back to the Yankees.
It's a lot of money.
They can't let him walk if he wins them a World Series.
Well, listen, you're going to make a lot of people happy with that prediction. I'm a little bit more pessimistic. I feel like this team we've seen it this season. I mean, they have the ability to just completely shut down on offense, and then they could get swept. Maybe I'm too pessimistic about it.
Every team has bad.
I know. Well, that's really a thing, especially in the American League. I feel like there's so much streakiness and unpredictability in the American League. Dare I say, Cleveland is the most predictable lineup among American League playoff teams. So it's going to be a fascinating playoffs. I love the prediction. I feel like it's bold. I feel like it's exciting. I think the magical mystery mist of the future has done us an unbelievable.
So basically, your takeaway should be the Padres will be in the World Series because both of us had it, and we both had the magical mystery mist of the future.
Yeah, and we're really only separated by one game potentially in terms of who makes it in the American League. So credit to the Mist. Credit to both of us for not poisoning ourselves to the point of incapacitation.
Not that we know of.
Not that we know of. I mean, we're not incapacitated, as far as I know.
It's true.
So we'll check the tapes after. Maybe we've been hallucinating this entire time. But we're going to wrap things up with a little feature from the new daily baseball puzzle game, Daily Walkoff. We got one of the creators of the game on the show. He's going to walk us through kind of how to play, what it's all about, and we're going to challenge ourselves with one of today's daily challenges. So thank you so much for listening. Enjoy that segment. Enjoy the rest of September baseball, because I think the next time we talk to you,
we'll have a bracket.
Be the playoffs. We'll have an official bracket. We could even be a series in. Who knows? But thanks for watching Worst Baseball Show and the Worst MLB on Instagram. And see you next time.
Peace out.
Okay, we're welcoming Jacob from Daily Walkoff to the page. How are you doing?
Doing well. How are you guys? Thanks for having me.
Great. Yeah. So your partner in creating Daily Walkoff reached out to me and told me about your new daily baseball puzzle. I tried it out myself. It was super fun. Do you kind of want to tell us a bit about it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we made a game called Daily Walkoff, and the daily MLB trivia game with 30 puzzles every day, one for every team. And so how we came to that, my buddy and I, we played Immaculate Grid and we loved it. But we were just never good enough at it because we only follow one team. And so we were like, what would it be to have a daily game where there's just for the Mariners, because we follow the Mariners. And, he's a data guy and I'm a software engineer. And so we were just like, let's just see if we can build it ourselves. And so we just kind of went through some ideas and then ultimately came to what we have today, which is kind of a mix between Immaculate Grid, Wordle, and Connections. I don't know if you play Connections, but yeah, so it's honestly the perfect game for baseball fans who just follow one team.
For sure. Do you want to, for those who don't know, kind of tell us how the game works?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it's just pretty simple. There's just a grid. So you got 4 columns, and each one is a trivia category. And you just got to put 3 players in each category that match the trivia column, and then just see if you got it right. So it's pretty simple. A lot of deduction. It's nice if you don't know many players because the players are already on the page, so you can just see and be like, oh, I remember that guy. He's from the 80s, but I remember that name, and you can try and see where he goes.
Right, for sure. I played the puzzle yesterday, and it was kind of cool trying to remember who was on the team when, and what position they played, and one of the categories yesterday was led the team in errors or something of that ilk. I was like, oh man, they're we played shitty defense that year. So it's
exactly.
Yeah, because it forces you to think about a lot of different things at once. Whereas Immaculate Grid, it's like you're really just kind of trying to recall like specific things about like what teams they played for, or like
Yeah.
oh, does this person have a career WAR above 50 or something like that. But I like
Sure,
how this
sure.
kind of taps into a different part of my baseball brain, digs into a different part of
Yeah.
my memory that I don't even know exists sometimes, of like, specifics about teams. And I think it's also really cool that you have 30 different puzzles every day. So if you want to play for
Yeah.
every single team, sit down for hours and just do daily walk-off, like that's possible. How's that even like doable? How did you do that?
Yeah. So there's a few baseball databases out there. And the one that we use is Sean Lahman's database, and that's just how we source our data. And there's we kind of set the columns for the day, but like 99% of the puzzle creation is automatically done, which is pretty cool. So it makes it a lot simpler to make puzzles. We're not making 30 by hand.
Right.
That would be way too much work.
Yeah, that's the approach I would take, and then I'd wonder why I didn't have any time to do anything else. So
Yeah, exactly.
Study data science.
yeah, for real.
I know I'm already pinched for time as it is, so it's
Right.
like, yeah, but yeah, it's 30 puzzles every day. And I was gonna say that it's funny, we did some beta testing before we launched it, and so we sent it out to some people, and of course they sent it to some friends. And there was this one guy, I don't even know who, from Tulsa, Oklahoma. He played every single team in one day. He was on the page for like 45 minutes, just playing every single team. And it was hilarious because we're just like, oh man, we got something here. Like, people like this. There's some real sickos out there that really want to play every team.
Yeah, some crazy. It sounds like something anybody from Tulsa would do. What else they got to do out there,
Yeah, I specifically like the word bank aspect of it, because I used to love taking tests that had word banks. It's the best. You don't have to, and it's more than just kind of name recognition, like what you said, Matthew.
Yeah.
Diving into specific parts of baseball, like the reason we like baseball. The intricacies. So it's awesome.
Yeah, and honestly, like there's a never-ending supply of like fun categories.
Yeah,
we're always trying to come up with new ones, and we're adding more every day. And so it's like we're never going to run out of puzzles, which is great.
Yeah, for sure. I like how they're all kind of themed each day too. Eric reached out to me yesterday because it's like, oh, the oof theme like reminded of the worst MLB. So I thought that was super cool.
Yeah. That's been fun to do as well. It kind of helps connect puzzles together. And there's another game out there. I don't know if you've played it, Ultimate Roster.
No.
It's a football one, but that's a great new daily game. And they do some themes as well. I like the themes they do every day. So that was kind of some inspiration there.
Very cool. Yeah. Do you have any data on what teams are getting played the most every day?
Yeah, we do. So we're from Seattle, so a lot of our initial reach out to people was from people from Seattle, and the game defaults to Seattle Mariners when you go in.
I noticed that. Yeah.
And so most of our contingent is from Seattle, but we actually have, there's probably 10 or so teams where they're getting 800 puzzles completed every day. So there's a large contingent. We got a lot from Yankees, Dodgers, kind of the bigger teams. And honestly, we have we made some posts in the different Reddit subreddits for the baseball teams, and that's been super helpful to get some traction. People have received it really well and given good feedback, and so super grateful to all the people out there that were playing it.
Yeah, I was going to ask kind of how you're distributing and getting your name out there, and kind of like where you hope to take the game, like for the next steps in growth for you guys.
Sure. Yeah. So honestly, right now it's just, bootstrapping. Just we haven't spent anything on marketing. It's just been, trying to get organic traction. And luckily, people like the game, so they share it. So that's been a huge aspect of it. But Reddit's been huge, and connecting with you guys is another step. And so we're just trying to, we feel like, okay, we got a cool game here. How can we build the audience that it deserves? And so that's what we're trying to do now, and just, exploring every avenue to do that. So we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, very cool. Well, you guys definitely deserve a big audience. It's a really fun and unique game. User interface is excellent, like very
Thank
well
you. Yeah,
constructed, well thought out.
appreciate
Um,
that. Yeah.
yeah. Do you want to pick out a team for us to try
Yeah,
and tackle
let's do it.
together?
Oh yeah. Ooh,
Do
let's
nose
see.
fall.
Okay, you guys said that you were Yankees fans, so why don't you try the Yankees?
Oh boy. I don't know. You don't want to challenge
See if
us?
you can do it. See if you can do it in one swing. That's the real challenge.
Right, yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Okay, so let's go ahead and share our screen here. So there we
All
go. We
right.
defaulted to the Mariners, of course. But
I
let's
just
go.
tried this one, so that'd be a little, it would be a little cheap.
Yeah, okay.
Oof.
So, what's our theme today, Jacob?
So we do themes every other day.
Ah, okay.
So this one's just a day that just has four, semi-similar categories. They
Mhm.
have some overlap to make it a little challenging.
For sure.
And so
All right.
yeah.
All right, let's do it. All right, the first thing that jumps out to me, Tyler Clippard. He based on the other categories
Yeah,
has to be Cleveland.
for audio listeners, let's read out the categories.
Okay.
So we got the New York Yankees. We've got franchise top 5 RBI, 1990s top 10 RBI, so a little bit of overlap with the runs batted in category.
Mhm.
Played for Cleveland, and in 2001, top 5 stolen bases. I feel like
Mhm.
these are like generally challenging.
Yeah.
These are generally challenging. I
Mhm.
think what jumps out to you, and then I'll tell you what jumps out to me.
Yeah, initially I thought the Yankees might be easy, but I think because they have such a storied history, it might
Right.
even be a little bit more difficult because like they have so many great guys who are not going to be top 5 in RBIs and stuff like that.
Yeah, and this is calling from specific eras too, which is an interesting approach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think maybe the Cleveland category might be the first one we want to
Yeah, I
take a
feel like
stab at.
you got to move Tyler Clippard over
Mm-hmm.
there because
Can do a little process of
right.
elimination.
Let's switch him with Soriano. I'm not seeing anybody else that jumps out. I think this category might be done, the Cleveland category.
What
I don't
about
even.
Danny Tart? You're
I
the
don't,
Yankees
yeah,
fan. You gotta.
I don't know who Danny Tartable is. I think top 5 stolen base is gonna trip me up.
Well,
I
Soriano was 2001 for sure, so he's got
Yeah,
to be there.
right, exactly.
Jeter probably.
But
I don't
is
know
it top
actually.
10? No, honestly, I think it could be him because I don't know that Jeter's necessarily top 10 RBI because he always batted at the top of the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
So I think definitely Clippard, Goody. I've
What
literally
about
never
Bernie?
heard of Matt Noakes. I don't know, or Danny Tartable for that matter. Everybody else I at least recognize.
So do you think? Okay, then maybe let's work from the left to the right, the top 5 RBI. Do
Okay.
you think it's Berra, Mantle, DiMaggio? Do you think that makes
Yeah, I
sense?
think that does make sense. So
Because
let's
they can't be really any other category
right, they
unless they
really
played for
can't.
Cleveland.
Right, which they not
Yeah.
that I know of. Okay. I don't know that Tino
90s. I feel
belongs
like
there.
Tino is in the
Tino's
90s.
gotta be there. I'm gonna put him in for Danny Tartable right now.
Oof. I feel like George Contos played for Cleveland.
Yeah,
Was that the reliever? I don't know.
it's
All right. So I feel confident in Soriano. I mean, did Jeter ever really steal that many bags?
but I feel like in 2000 he's at least top 5 on the team in 2001, you know? Like who else
Yeah.
is really stealing that many bases?
Okay.
I
Yeah.
just don't see Jeter honestly fitting in anywhere else. I feel like he's there to trip us up and make you think like, oh, of course he's top 5 in RBI. He's one of the best Yankees ever, but I don't know. I feel like it's got these guys have got to be here.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel confident in
Barrett,
the left
DiMaggio,
side.
Manuel.
All right. I'll trust your word for it.
Yeah, I don't.
I feel like Contos might switch out though for Cleveland, but I'm not confident in
Yeah,
that.
but who else is going in top 10 RBI for the 90s? I mean, maybe it could be Jeter.
Yeah.
No, I
What
mean
year did he debut? Do you know? Like mid 90s, late
90.
90s.
Why do I want to say that?
I feel like it's a little later.
Yeah. No, you're right. I 97-ish.
All right, should we just go with it?
I don't know. Our goal is to hit a home run here.
Yeah.
We don't want to. Okay, I'll let you
We'll
click.
see, man.
All right. I'm swinging. I'm swinging.
Oh
Oh
no.
no.
We only got
Oh,
one
you're
here.
close.
Okay. Oh boy. Not even
Okay.
close. Okay. Our goal should be to
All
our goal
right.
should be here. I feel
Switch
like
Did Bernie play for Cleveland? Did I make that up?
Maybe Danny Tartable played for Cleveland.
All right. This is what I think. This is
Okay,
what I
okay.
think. I think we switch Contos and Noakes. Oops. And then I think we switch Williams and Tarble. That would make sense, right? Based on what we had, the 1-2-2.
Oh, true. I guess Williams would fit there. But then Danny Tartable and Matt Noakes, 1990s top 10 RBI. I've never even heard of
But
it.
you got to remember that, like, if Jeter only played 4 years,
Yeah.
if somebody's there for like 7 years, it's quite possible they have more RBIs.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I don't see how else
Let's
we'd
see if
change
we can
the
do a
line.
second swing.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, man. You're right.
There we
Ah,
go.
you did it.
Look at that. Okay.
All right, sweet.
So there you go. We were able to
Triple is good.
walk up
Triple is
triple.
good.
Yeah, you can't.
That improves the OPS
Good.
for
2
sure.
swings.
Absolutely.
Like the maximum you can do is 5 swings. So 2 out of 5. That's pretty good.
Yeah, for
we'll
sure.
take it.
I think as we get a little more used to playing the game, the goal should be to hit the home run every single time. But
Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
And one of the fun things that we've got in the pipeline, it's actually up next on the feature list, is we're going to do like a pro mode. So there's a lot of users that have been wanting more of a challenge, and so when
cool.
you swing, it won't lock players in until you solve the whole column.
Okay.
Ooh,
So
Yeah.
it's like,
I like that.
so it just lets you know, like, you've got 2 players right in this category, but it doesn't tell you which ones. And so
Right, yeah.
it'll be a lot more of a challenge.
Right. That's how Connections does it, and it drives me freaking crazy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll be a little more like that.
Very cool. Well, fun stuff coming up for you guys. Really appreciate you hopping on with us, telling us about your game.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Hoping for nothing but good luck for you guys. It's super fun. We're gonna share it a whole bunch. So
We'll share it to some
great.
Mets fans here in DC.
right, exactly.
Yeah, please do. Please do. Thank you guys. Appreciate it so much.
All right. Thanks, Jacob. Appreciate you.
Good talking to you.
All right. Have a good day.
See ya.